Story 1. The Echo in Ward 13. The rain battered my windshield as I pulled up to the gates of Blackthorn Asylum, its silhouette jagged against the storm clouds. I'd been hired to photograph the place for a historical society, a last record before the bulldozers came. The asylum had been abandoned since the 70s, its reputation sealed by whispers of cruel experiments and patients who never left. I wasn't superstitious, but the air felt heavy, like the building was holding its breath. The gate's rusted chain snapped with a single tug, and I stepped into the courtyard, my boots crunching on broken glass. The main entrance was boarded up, but a side door hung ajar, creaking in the wind. Inside, the smell hit me first, mold and something sharper, like old medicine. My flashlight caught peeling paint and overturned gurneys, their wheels rusted to the floor. I snapped a few shots, the camera's shutter loud in the silence. Then I heard it, a faint hum, like someone singing under their breath. It came from deeper inside, maybe the second floor. I told myself it was the wind, but my pulse quickened. The stairs groaned under my weight, and the hum grew clearer, a woman's voice, soft and wavering. I followed it to a hallway labeled Ward 13. The doors were numbered, some ajar, revealing empty rooms with stained mattresses. At the end of the hall, one door was shut, a rusted padlock dangling loosely. The humming stopped as I approached. I raised my camera, heart pounding, and pushed the door. It swung open with a screech, revealing a small room with a single chair facing a cracked mirror. The mirror reflected nothing but the empty room. No me, no flashlight beam. My breath caught, and then the humming started again, right behind me. I spun around, but no one was there. The sound seemed to come from the walls themselves, vibrating through the floor. I backed out, my flashlight flickering. The humming grew louder, now mixed with whispers, words I couldn't make out, sharp and urgent. I stumbled down the hall, the air growing colder with every step. At the stairs, my flashlight died completely. In the dark, the whispers became screams, overlapping, clawing at my ears. I ran, tripping over debris, until I reached the side door and burst into the rain. Back in my car, I locked the doors, panting. My camera was still in my hand, and when I checked the photos, my blood ran cold. The last shot, taken in Ward 13, showed the chair in front of the mirror. Sitting in it was a woman in a tattered hospital gown, her face blurred but her eyes sharp, staring straight at the lens. I hadn't seen her. I swear I hadn't. The Historical Society never got those photos. I deleted them all, but sometimes at night, I hear that hum. It's faint, like it's coming from the walls. Story 2. The Patient Who Never Left. I was 19, working as a security guard to pay for college. The gig was simple: patrol the grounds of Greystone Asylum, a crumbling relic scheduled for demolition. The place had been empty for decades, but locals swore it was haunted. Patients left to rot after some scandal in the 60s. I didn't buy it. Ghosts were for kids, and I needed the money. My first night was quiet, just the wind rattling the chain-link fence. I walked the perimeter, flashlight sweeping over broken windows and graffiti-covered walls. The asylum loomed like a sleeping giant, its towers black against the moon. Around 2 a.m., I noticed a light flickering in a third-floor window. Probably a reflection, I thought, but my boss had warned about trespassers, urban explorers looking for thrills. I radioed it in, got no response, and decided to check it out. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and my boots echoed on the tiled floor. The stairs to the third floor were littered with old medical charts, their edges curling like dead leaves. I reached the hallway where I'd seen the light. It was dark now, but a faint tapping came from one of the rooms, rhythmic, like fingernails on metal. I followed the sound to a door marked Electrotherapy. The handle was cold, almost burning my palm. Inside, the room was empty except for an old metal table and a chair bolted to the floor. The tapping stopped as I entered, but the air felt wrong, like I was being watched. I swung my flashlight around, and the beam caught something on the wall. Scratches, deep and uneven, forming words. He never left. My stomach twisted. I backed toward the door, but it slammed shut before I could reach it. The tapping started again, faster now, coming from the table. I froze as the metal began to vibrate, a low hum rising from it. Shadows moved in the corners of my vision, too quick to follow. Then, a voice, Low, male, rasping, whispered my name. Jake. I hadn't told anyone my name that night. I yanked at the door, but it wouldn't budge. The hum grew louder, and the table shook violently, like something was trying to break free. I don't know how I got out. One moment, I was pulling at the door. The next, I was outside, sprawled in the dirt, my flashlight gone. My radio crackled, my boss yelling about why I hadn't checked in. I quit the next day. Later, I looked up Greystone's history. A patient, a man named Elias, had died during an electrotherapy session in that room. The record said he was alone when it happened. I don't believe that anymore. Story 3. The Child's Drawing. My sister, Emma, was an art therapist who took a contract job at a private foundation. They'd bought an old asylum, Willow Creek, to turn it into a community center, and Emma was there to assess the space for her program. She'd always been sensitive, picking up on things others missed, so when she called me one night, voice trembling, I knew something was wrong. "They left things behind," she said. "Drawings. Children's drawings. They're not right." She wouldn't explain more, just begged me to come pick her up. I drove out to Willow Creek, a sprawling complex surrounded by overgrown fields. Emma was waiting outside, clutching a folder of papers, her face pale. She showed me one drawing on the way home, a crayon sketch of a hallway with tall, thin figures standing in the shadows. The figures had no faces, just smudges where eyes should have been. At the bottom, in shaky letters, was written, "They see you." Emma said she'd found it in a locked storage room, along with dozens of others, all drawn by kids who'd been patients decades ago. That night, Emma slept at my place, but she woke up screaming around 3 a.m. She said she'd dreamed of the hallway from the drawing, the figures reaching for her. I calmed her down, but the next day, she insisted on going back to retrieve her notes. I went with her, not wanting her alone. The asylum felt colder than the day before, the air thick with a sour smell, like rotting fruit. We found her notes in an office, but as we turned to leave, we heard footsteps, small, quick ones, like a child running. They came from the hallway outside. I called out, thinking it was a squatter, but no one answered. The footsteps stopped, and then a child's voice giggled, high and sharp, echoing from nowhere. Emma grabbed my arm, whispering, "That's what I heard in my dream." We ran, but the hallway seemed to stretch, doors on either side slamming shut as we passed. The giggling followed, joined by whispers, too many voices to count. At the exit, Emma dropped the folder, and the drawings scattered. One caught my eye, the same hallway, the same faceless figures, but now one of them held a crayon sketch of Emma's face, her eyes wide with terror. We never went back. Emma quit, and the foundation sealed the building. Last I heard, they couldn't demolish it. Contractors kept quitting, saying they heard children laughing in the walls. I still have that drawing. Sometimes, I swear the figures in it move closer to Emma's face. Subscribe for more chilling tales.